Good morning, and thank you so much, Aman, for joining us for this very interesting conversation with you as the new managing director, though it's starting from August 1. It'll be very interesting to know exactly how things are going to progress. What are your feelings, initial thoughts of leading the organization at a time when there are both opportunities and challenges?
No, thank you, Vikas. It's an absolute honor and privilege to be taking up this new role. And I think most of the foundation has been laid by, my father and uncle in, say, the past decade, 2 decades, when their vision was to build one of the leading India-based businesses in pharma. And I think it's mainly for me to follow that path, to build on what they've kind of laid as a platform, and how do we incrementally invest further from here. And we've kind of seen ourselves as more of a branded generics company for the last decade or more. Branded generics in the sense that we operate in markets which are predominantly out of pocket. So India, Brazil being the two main markets, and of course we have a strong presence in Germany uh, as a third key market, and then the US. So it's more about just evolving the existing platform with incremental steps and building a larger presence in the international markets from here on. India has a very strong base, and how do we capitalize on the existing international presence to make it even stronger? I would say that is the goal for the next couple of years.
Right. So a more globalized sort of organization from where you are. But having said that, the US market has not been as strong as it has been for most other top tier companies from India. Though there has been some kind of an uptick now from your last quarter's information. How do you want to go there? Do you think the opportunities are ripe right now? What changes do you see, and how will Torrent's strategy be going forward?
Yeah, we are definitely not happy with our position in the US market as of today. It may have been the right time, a right call when we had taken to not double down on the US when the others had done so, because we were facing a whole different set of challenges. But I think that time is now behind us, and we would certainly need to enhance our presence in the US market. All said and done, uh, it's the biggest market in the world as a generics player. We will need to find kind of our niche in the US. And though it's late, I still believe that there are opportunities that exist, and there are ways that we can leverage our existing strengths to kind of have a meaningful uplift from here.
Right. So, in terms of the opportunities that you spoke of, can you take us through a few of those? What you think can be a good head start for you in the US? Because generally we see a swamping of the generics in the US market. So, how will it be different?
No, absolutely. So the space that we operate in, which is oral solids mainly, is quite crowded. And to kind of differentiate in this is becoming more and more difficult. But even then, there are still opportunistic plays that keep coming every now and then. And those are the kinds of plays that we would wish to pursue, rather than having a entry in a very crowded market. That's not, I mean, it's not the ideal way to grow from where we are today. So within oral solids, we still see that there are pockets of opportunities that exist. Now, outside of oral solids, there are multiple other kind of avenues of growth. There are injectables, there's uh, different platforms that we don't have currently, and we wish to be a kind of a partner in these models. where we work with companies who have existing infrastructure, who have maybe complex products, and they would seek a partnership model. That's, I would say, the immediate goal for the next 1 or 2 years, that non-oral solids, we would want to expand our portfolio through partnerships.
Okay, got it. So basically, if there is nowadays there is also a lot of talk about acquisitions, and to the extent that I know, there are a few targets already there in the US. People have been speaking about it. Would you be keen to see those as part of your future mandates?
Yeah, definitely. I would say that's a slight change in our approach from maybe the recent past, in the sense that we were prioritizing mainly India for acquisitions. Um, we do see that while organic growth has to be the long-term growth driver, inorganic can improve our kind of position from where we are today if it's done in a thoughtful and disciplined way. So while in the India market we are a bit uh, more ambitious in terms of acquisitions, in the international market we would be very measured, and they would be, I would say, more of a string of pearls approach rather than anything major or transformative. But certainly we are looking at acquisitions abroad, especially in the US. And
Right.
if something meaningful comes up, we would be quite keen to pursue it.
And would that also include opportunities in biosimilars? Any niche place that you may want to get into?
Biosimilars overall at this moment, no. I
Oh,
think I mean, to have a meaningful presence, you have to invest a significant amount, and it's a very long gestation period. So as of now, that's not on the radar, but we are certainly studying the space, and let's see if that changes anytime soon. But as of now, that's not part of the plan.
is Europe a little more conducive so far as biosimilars is concerned?
Yeah, Europe is certainly conducive in the sense that there are kind of many more opportunities that are there in terms of markets that open up if you have a cost advantage. We have a front-end presence in Germany, which is a key European market, so we
Yes.
would be keen to explore licensing in biosimilars and leverage our front end as the main kind of opportunity for entering biosimilars at this stage.
Right, right. Cool. So Aman, India has been your backbone for growth. I mean, that's a huge example as we spoke about growing a business. Yet, in terms of rankings, if I see the last Pharma Track data, you are at number 7. Obviously, there are more aggressive companies which are actually taking the market share higher. How do you want to describe your position in the home market? We are aware of those very, speculative days of, big bids, which couldn't really go through. What would be your plan going forward so far as the India market is concerned?
No, I think as far as the India market is concerned, we have reached the position today uh, through mainly inorganic growth over the last say decade. Our rank was much lower 10 years ago than it is
Yeah.
today. So
Yeah.
that's certainly, I would say, a big positive that kind of has happened in the sense that from where we were to where we are in a much stronger position to invest further and even grow the business from here. I would say that from here onwards, acquisition will continue to remain a priority. And top three in the Indian market is certainly something that we have our eyes on. Organically, that would be maybe difficult to achieve in the near term, but certainly through inorganic growth, it seems quite possible. And maybe in the next couple of years, if something materializes, that's certainly going to be part of our ambition.
Okay. So you will aggressively pursue inorganic buyout route to see that your ranking improves and probably gets into the top 3.
That's correct. That's correct. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, that is again something that has been a very bold and very unconventional move from Torrent side. We had always associated Torrent within a particular range of buyouts, but if it is really a breakout kind of a buyout, that will be a very, very strong move, and also a commitment to the Indian market.
No, absolutely. The commitment to the Indian market remains as strong as ever. I
Right.
think even with some of the structural changes that are happening or have happened in the recent years, we believe that the inherent demand of the Indian pharma market is not going to change.
Right.
And that is what gives us the confidence to invest inorganically as well, that the base of the market will not shift dramatically. And that's where we would want to kind of uh, uh, be a top three player. From currently we're seventh, but top three looks to be uh, an ambitious, but I would say realistic goal.
And within how much time do you think that probably can happen?
I would say hopefully maybe in the next 3 to 5 years.
Okay. Sure. So, basically, generally what we see of the Indian market, of course, there are some definitely dramatic changes also happening. But most of it is again, the way we saw in empagliflozin market really getting crowded up, 150, 170 players within a couple of weeks. Uh, is there a kind of a tiredness there because, how much more can you sell of the same? And then
Yeah,
the pricing really crashes and it really
yeah.
doesn't really take you anywhere, any different from being the 93rd player which is also doing the same empagliflozin.
No, we were actually studying the same very recently to understand that maybe new launches, how have they evolved over, say, the last 5 years versus today? And you're right in the sense that there's certainly a very large number of entrants who kind of are in the market on day one. Yeah. Sorry. Having said that, what interestingly we also analyze is that 90% of the market still remains with the top 6 or 7 companies. So you're essentially losing only 10% of the market when new competition walks in. So it's certainly it's not a positive that there's so much competition, but it's also not so dramatically kind of negative either. And we see that in fact our performance as far as Torrent goes in some of the new launches has been one of the strongest we've seen in the recent years. In terms of market share in whether empagliflozin or sitagliptin from 2 3 years ago, uh, we have been consistently in the top 2 or 3 market share ranks when new launches are concerned. So I would say that while the number of launches looks very, very competitive, market share gives a very different picture, and it's essentially within, say, the top 6 or 7 companies for most products.
That's a very interesting data. So, in how much time does that situation change when, say, for example, 150 launches happen within the few weeks, and then in your reading, 90% go out. So probably 140 go out. So there will be about 10 companies. In how much time do you think this situation changes?
Within the first few months, it's very visible.
Really?
If the market share trends of the first 2 3 months are kind of, I mean, once you see those numbers, they don't change dramatically, unless there is a product differentiation or uh, uh, price disruption that happens. But even in those cases, it's very very rare to change the market share after the first couple of months of launch, and that's evident already in the empagliflozin case
Okay.
that was mentioned. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You've expanded your base of medical reps significantly in the last 3 years from 3,600 to 6,400. So it's a very strong statement again to really go deep down in the market. What's been the strategy there, and do you think you will be adding more to that number?
Yeah, certainly. So we closed this year at 6,400 MRs. If I look back at 2021, maybe so 4 years ago we were at 3,600.
600.
So it's and we may close the year nearly at 7,000 this year. So that's almost double in 4 years. So it's a kind of progressive move that we're making into more, uh, I mean, a kind of methodical expansion to have more products in the market with kind of adequate market share, and also increase our territorial reach where maybe we were not as, I would say, adequately present before. We've seen that the last couple of years, especially the last 2 years, have given pretty good results in doing so. Maybe we were a bit late in doing it, but I think nonetheless it's still an opportunity that's quite meaningful, and we'll continue to pursue uh, field force expansion going ahead as well.
Okay, sure. So we've discussed the top three markets, US, Europe, India, and now is the time to shift the gear to a little bit more on how do you see the competitive landscape going so far as India is concerned vis-a-vis what we are seeing from China. There are dime a dozen deals that are happening from China in terms of early stage to mid stage to even some late stage compounds being licensed out. The last one was 3S Bio giving Pfizer $6 billion kind of a deal. How do you see that, in comparison to what our top Indian companies are doing or is positioned? So,
China has certainly leapfrogged on the innovation front over the last decade. I think there's so much innovation coming from the Chinese companies, whether to the US or the Western markets or within China, that maybe they don't really have much of an incentive to be in the generics space. I think they're kind of they've already kind of transitioned to the innovation space. So in generics, especially in oral solids, we still don't see much of competition from China coming in. In certain segments, say injectables, definitely there is tough competition coming from Chinese companies. But what we are seeing is that most of the Chinese companies and Chinese investment is going to innovation, and it's quite incredible how the number of deals of out licensing have skyrocketed in the last couple of years.
yes, exactly. And then so the question is about how do Indian companies see to that big change happening? Because sooner we start on that journey, and we've already started, no doubts about it, but there have been hurdles and there have been in drips. So how do we kind of you use the word leapfrog? So is there something to be done to really gain that momentum?
Innovation in India, several companies have invested in this. There are companies who are still investing in this. But to really get on a global scale, it will require many things to come together, including support from various institutes, from government, from kind of a multiple ecosystem approach at play rather than an individual company coming in. And I think it's not too far out, but certainly as of today, it's tough to kind of match that level of investment required. The ambition of the industry is certainly to move up the value chain. There are talks that we've seen that are very kind of encouraging from various forums on kind of making a move to this. Uh, and maybe in the next, say, 5 to 10 years, things could change. So at least uh, the companies are in a very strong position today in the Indian pharma market to invest seriously and meaningfully in innovation. And it's certainly looking possible that India could also make the leapfrog change in the coming decade.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, we've seen it's a very strenuous journey to move into the innovation fold, and the results are again spectacular. I mean, if you really state the course of the entire journey, we've seen how companies have been able to really, gain a lot of traction and also beef up their pipeline. So hopefully that will also happen with some of the other Indian companies.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So, I mean, I was again interested on something that is being talked about almost everywhere about GLP-1s and weight loss drugs. Any thoughts on that for Torrent? How do you want to position? Will you be among the first wave of launchers in India when semaglutide patent expires in 2026 March, I think?
Yeah, certainly. It's been on our radar for quite some time, and we have positioned our kind of launches as of now to hopefully be in the first wave. So we are looking at both the injectable GLP-1 and the oral GLP-1. We believe as of now that the injectable market will likely be a bit more crowded, but we would still aim for a meaningful play in this space, given our existing strengths in the chronic disease segment. But the oral, as of now, looks it's going to be a smaller part of the market, but maybe less competition as of now. And we are positioned as of today to be in the first wave of launches there. So while both will be important and meaningful launches for Torrent, uh, the oral could be a bit more interesting in the sense that there could be less competition playing out here.
Right. Will there be any opportunities to do a launch for tirzepatide also? But I think the patent expiry is only in 2036. So, do you think there will be some opportunities there as well?
No, not until the patent expires, unless there is a partnership route. So
Yes.
Lilly generally has been interested in partnering with Indian companies. So hopefully, if something works out there, that would certainly be of interest.
Right. Okay. So I also believe there are some other, siRNA products which are being worked out, some completely different modalities. And Indian companies have been, tying up with global MNCs to launch those kind of products. So those opportunities are also something that you can actually look forward to, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Those are more as of now going to be through licensing because again the patent expiration is a bit far away. Some
Yeah.
of them have already been launched in the Indian market, but the main thing there is accessibility and pricing. These are very, very expensive products. So
Yes.
if there is a way to bring down the price meaningfully through either innovation or I mean, obviously after patent expiration it'd be different, but licensing maybe a cost-effective therapy in this space would really be beneficial for the Indian market because right now it's a minuscule share of patients who get access to it.
Yes. So there is a PCSK inhibitor from Novartis, inclisiran,
Yeah,
which is already here in the Indian market. Then there is
yeah,
again a protein-based therapy from Amgen, which is being sold by Dr. Reddy's, Repatha.
yeah,
So those
yeah.
kind of products are something that probably will be lapped up by Indian companies so far as the reach is concerned. So,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, but even then, the pricing would be kind of
um,
constrained to kind of match the innovator pricing. So,
right.
Indian companies would launch, but still at the I mean, naturally in a patent period, that's not very unusual. So, while that's a big positive, whether this market can really increase in size, it's all a matter of bringing down the pricing and hopefully in the next couple of years, some innovation would help bring that.
Sure. What's your sense on CDMOs? Many companies are looking at that opportunity, mm, and there is a lot of growth. Some of the reports that we see say that of a market of about 140, 150 billion, India has a very minuscule presence, maybe less than 10%. Do you think that could be also an opportunity for you going forward?
I mean, overall, Indian CDMO has done fantastically well over the last couple of years. It's probably something that may continue to kind of get more share globally from other markets or other countries. So overall, Indian CDMO to me seems very, very kind of positioned for very good growth from here. As far as we are concerned, we have not really kind of considered entering this space. It's a fundamentally different business model compared to what we operate in. And I'm not sure that it's something that we would be kind of able to do justice in. if we are entering this space. So as of now, we have no plans to enter CDMO space.
Right, right. So, if I am to sum up the conversation we had, you will look at a stage-wise ramp up and selective ramp up in the US. Domestic market, you will not hesitate to do big buyouts with the aim of being in the top three or five of the leading Indian companies. CDMO, not really an interesting opportunity for you. Europe probably could be a good area for biosimilars in terms of launching because you already have a beachhead in Germany. And I think overall, the picture you gave looks like a good setup for opportunity to grow, right? I mean, that's the way you would like to summarize it.
No, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the most kind of one-line summary is that we are just not happy with our international presence today.
Right.
We certainly have a big job ahead of us, and we are keen that we build a much bigger presence. And we would look at capital allocation in the international markets very differently to how we've seen it in the past.
Which will be rooted for acquisitions as well.
Yeah, acquisitions will be part of it, but again, it'll be very, very methodical and nothing transformational. It'll be in a kind of very, very
Staggered way.
digestible way, I would say. Absolutely.
Sure. Any views on MFN pricing, tariffs, all the things that we are actually getting signals from the West?
I think we are on the same page as everyone, same boat as everyone. That is still very uncertain. Of course, if it does get implemented, it could be a slight negative for the industry overall. But again, generics may not be impacted to the degree that maybe branded pharma would be.
Yeah.
That's the current feeling.
Right.
I think it's best that we wait for the fine print to come out before taking any actions or making any speculative comments at this moment. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It still remains a mystery and the suspense doesn't go. So let's see what actually comes out of it. But really nice to have spoken to you. Great conversation as always. Thank you so much again, Aman, and wish you really the very best for the future.
No, thank you. Thank you for the time. It's been a pleasure.